kamasya, desire for sense gratification,
desire for sense gratification,
or the urgent needs of the body, and he indeed should by one who is very hungry or thirsty, through the of anger, this by venting chastisement and its reaction. A person, he crosses over. No, not. Lobhasya, greed. Ditva, conquering. Bhuktva, enjoying. Dishaha, all directions. Bhuva, of the globe. Translation and purport by Prabhupada. The strong bodily desires and needs of a person disturbed by hunger and thirst are certainly satisfied when he eats. Similarly, if one becomes very angry, that anger is satisfied by chastisement and its reaction. But as for greed, even if a greedy person has conquered all the directions of the world or has enjoyed everything in the world, still he will not be satisfied. But in the Bhagavad Gita 3.37, it is stated that lust, anger, and greed are the causes of conditioned soul's bondage in this material world. Kamesha, Krodesha, Rajoguna, Samudbhava. When strong lusty desires for sense gratification are unfulfilled, one becomes angry. This anger can be satisfied when one chastises the enemy. But when there is an increase in lobha or greed, which is the greatest enemy caused by Rajoguna, the mode of passion, how can one advance in Krishna consciousness? If one is very greedy to enhance his Krishna consciousness, that is a great boon. Tatra laulyam ekalam mulyam. This is the best path available. ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कथामयं ददाति स्वतान्त्रिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातां सङ्गनायकप्राणायकं तं सजीवं साधुवैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सर्वनाथविदासं नमामि विष्णुपादाय कृष्णकृष्णाय विद्महे श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनित्यानामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी भाषातवेषधारिणे नमो भावधन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरचे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकाकांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। अच्युतकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणम्। Hare Krishna. So, first of all, I would humbly beg some strength and also blessings from all the assembled Vaishnavas, all, especially Sri Muktanda Prabhu, Sri Sri Prabhu, and all the Mataris, and yes, to everyone who is here, so that I may speak something for glorification of Lord and purification of my heart. I'm not qualified, but I'm just trying to repeat words of previous acharyas. So this whole section is conversation between Yudhishthira Maharaj and Narad Muni, and Narad Muni is giving here many principles, many instructions to Yudhishthira Maharaj, and especially this verse talks about greed. So I think both 19th and 20th verse, what we read. In 19th verse, it is said that a devotee can lose four things if he is greedy for the sake of senses. So the first thing is he loses spiritual strength. Second, education. Third, austerity. And fourth, his reputation itself. So, austerity and reputation are beauty, and his knowledge. Sorry, fourth is knowledge. Austerity and reputation is one. So these four things dwindle when one is very greedy, and one can see that if one is too greedy for material things, gradually his energy is completely lost because his energy is channelized to get more and more material things. So his spiritual strength reduces and his austerity, capacity to do austerity and also education, that is reduced. And in this verse, so this today's verse 7.15.20, Prabhupada is saying here, and the translation goes like all other things like kama, the strong bodily desires, maybe that can be satisfied when one eats. Similarly, anger can be satisfied. It can be vented out when it is directed to some person as chastisement. But here it is said that greed, it can never be satisfied. Even if one can conquer the entire world, and there are many examples in Bhagavatam, and this canto itself has the greatest example of Hiranyakashipu. Even after conquering the entire world, he was not satisfied. And for what? Just for his small little 5-year-old child, he was against him. So that led to his destruction. Everyone, including, I was reading yesterday, so everyone, including all the demigods, Vidyadhara, Charanas, Bhutas, Pretas, Yamraj himself, everyone was under control. And Narada Muni says there that even I was glorifying Hiranyakashipu, so as to please him. And again I would glorify. So he was even greater than all the sages. I mean, like Prabhupada right there in Prabhupada, like many great sages like Durva, Samuni and all people are generally afraid that they will get first. But Hiranyakashipu was even above them. Even the great sages, demigods, everyone was under his control except his own child. I mean, it wouldn't have mattered to him a lot, but because of his greed, that he wanted that respect from his own child. So, as Prabhupada says, and I think is a very much saying that the world has enough for everyone's need, but not for one single person's greed. So even if one single person's greed can never be satisfied, even if he has everything. So there is, Prabhupada tells this story that how actually there is a very fine line between need and greed. And especially for devotees, one has to be very careful in that respect, because one can justify one's need, but that need may not be actually need, it may be actually greed. So there is a very fine line between need and greed, and one has to be very careful. Prabhupada tells the story of Brahmana who was living his life very peacefully with just one lion cloth, and that lion cloth he used to dry, and there's just one problem, that rat is to come and eat it. So he thought that if rat is disturbing, let me get a cat, so that the cat will eat the rat. And then now the cat is there, but the cat needs milk, so he said that let me get cow, so that cat can drink milk, and then cat can eat rat. But then cow, it needed someone to maintain the cow. And he said that let me get married and let me have a wife who can maintain the cow. cow to cat, cat to rat, and then eventually, after some time when his guru came back, he saw that he had a nice house and settled and everything, but everything started from where, you know, he's, he, he thought that let me get a rat. So the point is, it starts with small thing and it eventually grows bigger and bigger because that is the nature of greed, that one is never satisfied in whatever position one is. I mean, like what to speak of, general people think that, oh, if I have this much, I will get satisfied. If I have $100,000, I will get satisfied. If I have $1,000,000, I will get satisfied. But you see, all the big, big people in this universe, in this world, no one is satisfied. Even if one has $1,000,000, he wants $1,000,000,000. Even if one has $1,000,000,000, one wants $1,000,000,000. One has $1,000,000,000, one wants, I mean, like, there is no end to it. People are working hard towards the end of their life to get more and more and more and more and more and more. So, you see all the big, big CEOs of company, all the big, big prime ministers, why they are doing all those things? I mean, I always used to think that if they were in this position, we can just retire and live a peaceful life and practice Krishna consciousness. But they are not satisfied. At any point, even if they have millions and billions of dollars, there is no satisfaction. So they want more and more and more. And that thirst for more, asat Krishna, that is the quality of Rajoguna. Here Prabhupada says that it comes of Rajoguna samudbhava, that one can never be satisfied by this need. Because one thinks that, if I get in that position, one will be satisfied. But after he reaches that position, he still thinks that, oh, there is someone, above me, so I have to get more. So that's a never-ending game. Yeah. So therefore, actually, as devotees, it is said that when we compare with others, one should see, for spiritual things, one should see devotees who are above, spiritually advanced. And materially, one should compare with people who are below, who are not even having the facilities that we are having. Then one can be satisfied. That is a formula. So once there was one king, I think it generally quoted as a story of Akbar and Birbal. So once Akbar saw one of his subject was very happy and very satisfied, even though Akbar, he had everything, he was not feeling that much satisfaction. But this one person, one devotee in his kingdom, he had very less salary, very less things, but he was very satisfied. And then Akbar told people that, oh, this person, he looks so happy and so satisfied. And even after having everything, I am not that happy and satisfied. So he will say that, oh, this is because he has not entered the 99 Wine Club. This is a very famous story which nobody quotes. So then people, next day, he took a bag of gold coins, 99 gold coins, and he, dig the hole, and then in that hole where this devotee, this person, he used to plow his field, he kept it there. So when he was plowing his field, he found a bag, and the bag was full of 99 gold coins. And immediately I noticed, his wife said, shh, don't tell anyone, don't, she said that let's get this inside the home. So they got that bag inside home and then they counted. And exactly the bag had 99 gold coins. And then they started to think, oh, where is the 100th gold coin? That is missing. That is missing in my, that is missing. So then started a saga of hard work and endeavor, and this guy said that no, you have to go get and work and earn this 100th gold coin. So the point is, uh, uh, he was very satisfied with his life, but then as soon as he entered the club of 99 gold coins, he became dissatisfied. So actually that is the thing that we see, that even in this world, people having, we think that maybe people having millions of dollars, billions of dollars, they're happy. But no, they're actually in the 99 gold coin club. They are having different kind of competition there of how they can earn more and more and more. So no one is satisfied. So um, so therefore, actually for devotees, this fine line between need and greed, of how much is enough, that is very important. Because in the name of needs, one can, accumulate more and more, and the point is, one's vital human energy is lost in the whole process, because energy is limited, our time is limited. Either we give for material things or spiritual things. Obviously, I think one has to spiritualize all material things, but when this greed comes in, then one can eventually lose the distinction of what is actually needed, and one can get into this rat race of 99 gold coin, that oh, something is still missing in my life, and then one becomes too much. That is one of the thing which Rupa Goswami says in Upadeshamrita, that one of the six things. Prajalpa, what is that? How it starts? Atyahara prayasasya prajalpo niyama. Atyahara prayas. That prayas is actually for material things. What is needed is fine, but kamo labho jivatayavata jivasadatva jigyasa. So Prabhupada says that kamasya na indriya priti labho jivatayavata jivasadatva jigyasa. So whatever is needed, that's fine, but one should not work a lot which is not needed. So because our energy is really limited. So therefore, here it is said that, Prabhupada saying here that all other things, all other vikaras, they can be satisfied, but greed can never be satisfied, which is born from mode of passion. Prabhupada is saying that how, he's saying here exactly that the anger can be satisfied when one chastises, but when there is increase in lobha or greed, which is the greatest enemy caused by Rajoguna, the mode of passion, how can one advance in Krishna consciousness? Prabhupada is saying, it is not possible to advance in Krishna consciousness when one has developed that intense greed. So many times in name of need, we justify our greed. And there are many examples of in devotees, buying costly homes, costly travels, all those things actually. Rajampur says many examples of this, that how there are many devotees who brought homes very costly, but then to pay EMI they had to go out and work, and then or devotees going out of association just for some increase of money. So all these things are very much seen of practically, that how this kind of greed can come even in a disguise in life of a devotee. So Narottam Das Thakur says a very beautiful verse. So he says in Padra, he says, I heard this first time from David Maharaj or someone. So he says this Kama Krishna Arpane Krodha Bhakti Dveshajane Lobha Sadhu Sangha Hari Katha Moha Ishta Labdha Vina Mada Krishna Gunakane Nivyakta Karibe Yatha Tatha. So he says that Kama Krishna Arpane, that if one has lust, then I will use that lust in service of Krishna. And anger, Krodha, he says that I will use that Krodha Bhakti Dveshajane, to chastise or get angry on devotees who are bhakta dveshi, who are envious of devotees. And he says that lobha or greed, lobha sadhu sangha hari katha. So lobha should be engaged in hearing Krishna katha in association of devotees. Lobha sadhu sangha. One should have that greed for sadhu sangha and hari katha. So lobha sadhu sangha hari katha. And then he says that moha ishtalabdha vinay. So moha is bewilderment. So he says that I will only get bewildered when I cannot attain my worshipable Lord. And Mother Krishna Gunagane. He says that madness. So madness will be manifested when I intensely glorify the divine qualities of Krishna. And he says that in that way I will utilize all of these vikaras. So kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsya is not included. Matsya is purposely that if one is envious, one cannot advance. And Bhagavatam also says nirmatsaranam satam. So all these six out of five can be engaged in this way. So so the same greed that one has for material things has to be diverted in Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada writes here, the last sentence. If one is very greedy to enhance his Krishna consciousness, that is a great boon. Krishna bhakta svabhavitavati triyatam edikutopi labyate tatra lolyam api ekamulyam janma koti sukritirna labhyate. So he says that that is the only price that one has to pay for advancing in Krishna consciousness. Even Bhagavan Keshav Maharaj, when he was saying the point that he said that he gave example of his uncle. He said that his uncle used to go for last 40 years. For last 40 years, he would go to, he had a store, and he would go to that store morning 8 a.m. and then I think till night 10 a.m. or something. And that he did unfailingly for last 40 years without even one single holiday. So Maharaj was saying that if some percent of that,
what he did?
He had a store, so he would open that store from morning 8 a.m. to night 10 a.m. and he is doing that for last 40 years. He is so pakka in doing that, opening store, and he said that he has not even taken one single day off, because one single day off means he lose money. So he is saying that he was so pakka, he is so determined to that. But he was saying that if just some percent of that determination in material life, if you would have diverted it for Krishna consciousness, how much more advanced, or how you would have nicely advanced. So this is Maharaj making the point that greed for material things, or that same kind of thing that we have for getting jobs or earning money, if some greed, Prabhupada is making the point here that some greed, if that's very greed, if one is very greedy to enhance his Krishna consciousness, that is a great one, and that is the only price. Tatra laulyam api mulyam ekalam. That is the only price that one has to pay to develop that intense greed for Krishna consciousness. Rupa Goswami says that just like a person, he gives the example of Sethi, who at end of his day, he is so cautious and careful in, I've seen that counting notes. I've seen the shopkeepers, they are count notes so fast and they are so quick and so accurate, and they have great joy in counting that, oh, what is my today's score of how much I have earned money towards the end of the day. Rupa Goswami says that that same kind of greed a devotee should have for counting, how many Bhagavatam pages I have read, or how many rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra I have chanted, or how much service I have done. So he says that actually Bhakti Siddhanta Sarada, he Thakur also said that I derive great inspiration from material people, because when I see them working so hard for something which is actually intangible, it's like nothing. So I see them working hard for so much for for so less benefit. And when I see that, I get so much inspiration that how much more we should work hard for Krishna consciousness, which is actually tangible. Um, there's another verse it says, no, that न लभ्यते ब्रह्मदा उपर्यदा तस्यैव हेतो प्रयतेत कोविदा न लभ्यते यत् ब्रह्मताम् उपर्यदा. So one should endeavor for something that actually one cannot get in this world. So because all things of this world, a honeybee, it works so hard, from flower to flower, going and collecting honey. And for years and years they work hard, and they build a honeycomb. And at the end, someone comes and burns the honeycomb and takes away all the honey. So Prabhupada says that the endeavor of material person for earning more, and so one should understand this, that how the endeavor for actually earning more and more money, and in the end actually one has to give it up. Krishna says that I will come as death, mrityu sarva harasya chaham. So it will go. I already said that young people accumulate more and more, but they never enjoy themselves. They either give it to their next generation, or they accumulate and they are gone. So that is really foolishness to accumulate more and more. And even actually, therefore it is said that whatever you have accumulated throughout the life, one should actually, give it off. When one is there himself, not that it is said, there is a story, the Brahmana story, carrying rice, what is called muri. So when that wind came and then it was took away, then he said Krishna Arpanam. What is the use of saying Krishna Arpanam after it is gone? So when one has the capacity, one has to give. So therefore it is said that for devotee also, so whatever is there, one should give, because anyway it is going to be taken away. And he said that one should not actually, even in one's dependent, when one gives, so it should be, if the dependent is very qualified, so he will earn and his own livelihood. So you don't have to give. And if he is not qualified, he will just spend your money. Correct now? So in both ways there is no point much of giving. So anyways, that's a different subject matter, but so then I think in the eventual verses it will come that how one has to give this greed for accumulating more money. So it is said that verse will come in after two verses. So it is said that they are saying that how each of these vikaras can be given up. So for greed they say that one has to discuss the disadvantages or ill effects of accumulating more and more. So when one discusses through knowledge, then one can actually give it up. So there I just wanted to read one section of 11th canto, the song of Avanti Brahmana. So Avanti Brahmana, he also was, very greedy for money, and his whole life he was so greedy that, and not just greedy, but he was also miserly. So he would not even give that money to anyone. And at the end of his life, all his money was taken away, and that was the point when he realized that, oh, what are the effects of earning so much money. So this is a verse in 11th canto. This is I think chapter 23, and this is verse 18 to 19. So there he is saying many things, but he has got a realization of earning so much wealth and the futility of it. So here he is saying many things. I'll just read few verses and then just one very important verse. So in that verse, there are 15 ill effects, 15 undesirable qualities which men develop because of greed for wealth. So he is talking about the 15 qualities of accumulating too much money. So here, generally wealth of Midas allows them any happiness. In this life it causes their self-torment, and when they die it sends them to hell. So I am just reading few verses. Whatever pure fame is possessed by famous and whatever praiseworthy qualities are found in virtues are destroyed by even a small amount of greed. Just as one's attractive physical beauty is ruined by a trace of white leprosy. In the earning, attainment, increase, protection, expense, loss, and enjoyment of wealth, all men experience great labor, fear, anxiety, and delusion. So, so many things: earning, attainment, one has to maintain after this, protect, expense, loss, enjoyment of wealth. There is great labor, fear, anxiety, delusion. And now he's saying about the 15 qualities. So they are theft, one; violence, second; speaking lies, third; duplicity, fourth; lust, fifth; anger, sixth; perplexity, seventh; pride, eighth; ninth is quarreling; enmity, 10th; faithlessness, 11th; envy, 12th; envy and the dangers caused by women, there is 12th; gambling and intoxication. The 15 and there was more money. One, obviously, it is said that Parikshit Maharaj gave boon to Kaliraj to stay in that place where there is unnecessary accumulation of more wealth, which is not engaged in service of Krishna. So, gambling and intoxication are the 15 undesirable qualities that contaminate men because of greed for wealth. Although these qualities are undesirable, men falsely ascribe value to them. One desiring to achieve the real benefit of life should therefore remain aloof from undesirable material wealth. Even a man's brother, wife, parents, and friends united with him in love will immediately break off their affectionate relationships and become envious over a single coin. For even a small amount of money, these relatives and friends become very agitated and their anger is inflamed. Acting as rivals, they quickly give up all sentiments of goodwill and will reject one at moment's notice, even to the point of committing murder. He is saying all these things are ill effects of accumulating more and more wealth. So, I think that is one section I just wanted to. I think it is very, and all the purpose are also very nice, but we don't have time. And there is another section where, so this comes in 8th canto, where I think there is also a very famous section about. So this is about greed for money, and then in another section of Bhagavatam, I think this is Lord Vamandev. So when he was asked by Bali Maharaj to take more land, so Vamandev, the Lord himself, so he is saying that. So this is 8th canto, 19th chapter and 21st verse. So the small boy who came as Vamana, who was asked by Bali Maharaj that, oh, why you are taking just 3 pieces of land, 3 steps of land? We can take more, according to your need. So here Vamandev is saying that, my dear king, even the entirety of whatever there may be within 3 worlds to satisfy one's senses cannot satisfy a person whose senses are uncontrolled. It is said that, so there is another verse, it says that, Pova Daridra Ikshada Krishna, Sriramsa Choryasya Samasta Dosha. So what it means is, it says that Pova Daridra, who is poor? Poor is not determined by a person who has less material accommodations. The poorness is determined by a person who has vast desires. So one who has vast desires, he is very poor, because his desires are a lot than what he has. And then he says that Shrimams Chakoyasya, who is rich? The rich, that person is rich who is samasta dosha, who is completely satisfied. So even the king with millions of dollars, and we see that very seen in this world, person with millions of dollars, he may not be satisfied, he still wants more. But a very poorest man also can be satisfied if one has less desires. So if normally they are saying the same principle here, that for person who has senses are not controlled, who has lot of desires, so he cannot be satisfied. Even if I were not satisfied, see he is saying here, if I were not satisfied with 3 pieces of land, then surely I would not be satisfied even possessing one of the 7 islands consisting of 9 verses. Even if I possess one island, I would hope to get others. We have heard that all the powerful kings like Prithu Maharaj and Maharaj Gaya achieved proprietorship over the 7 vipas. They could not achieve satisfaction and find the end of their ambition. Then he is saying, one should be satisfied with whatever he achieves by his previous destiny, for discontent can never bring happiness. A person who is not self-controlled will not be happy even with possessing the 3 worlds. So, actually, one should be very satisfied with one's destiny, because one cannot change a lot. If one can only endeavor a lot, but that endeavor will not lead him to that result, because it is destined. So one can work very hard, but eventually one has to accept and be satisfied, and whatever position one is, be satisfied, and then one can divert the energy to Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, one's vital life energy is very limited. So whatever energy one has, an intelligent person, he knows that I have got limited energy, so be satisfied materially and be greedy spiritually. That is his formula. So materially one should be very satisfied, and spiritually one should be greedy, not other front. People are generally satisfied spiritually. Oh, I am doing this much, so that is fine. I am standing this rounds, I am doing this much service. So people are generally very satisfied spiritually and greedy materially. But a devotee, he should be greedy spiritually and satisfied materially. So I think I'll end here. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Shankaracharya Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Anyone has any questions, corrections or points?
An idea of the saying in the United States for sure that they have said greed is good. It's a good thing. It's like everything we do is think is completely opposite to the material way of life. That's why. And anyway, we said satisfaction is good. It's good to be satisfied. You don't need very much to be, and just, there's so many times people now, men for sure, and women too, a lot of times they work till they die. And my uncle was like that. He said, I'm going to work till I die. He didn't, because he had to go into a nursing home, and then he died. He was rich too. I have to work. I'm going to work till I die. You know, if I didn't have health problems, I'd probably still be working. And if I wasn't a devotee and I was over 70, I'd probably be a lonely little old guy in a room somewhere with no friends and nothing.
Disciple who sold away all the property, whole land, and he asked, I don't have personally for my living that. He asked some little space in the temple. Bhakti Thakur become so happy. Wherever he is going, he is glorifying about him. Jagat Bandhu.
Very inspiration.
But maybe I have to samadhi. Pitambar temple is he only gave.
He is.
He made only.
Barber.
Barber.
The all the marble.
Barber.
Yeah, he gave everything in the marble. There is no remains in the marble.
And there only the fight happened. Like Ganga facing you. That is the Ganga facing you. So they were very unhappy. So Raghav did that.
No, I spoke yesterday on this. Same on the trade itself. Yeah, so how satisfactory. Churn some it's good, you added more.
Yeah, with the examples.
This section we should note down. Very powerful sections.
15, 16.
11 can 20 is also very amazing.
He was writing and then there was a question mark. How can one advance?
Very powerful.
How can one advance in Krishna consciousness and writing question mark? Because it's very greedy.
How can one advance in Krishna consciousness? One is greedy. Prabhupada ki jai. Rasa Prabhupada ki jai.
साधु संघ के लिए ग्रीक चाहिए.
Lord was trying to sing the Hari Katha. Narottam Das Thakur says.
This one, formula job like that.
साधु संघ के जाने के लिए
साधु को पकड़ के छोड़ते हैं.
हमारे साधु संघ जाने के लिए साधु संघ जाने के लिए
हाँ, सत्संग में गए नहीं. मैं नहीं होगा. मैं भी जाने देता था ट्राई करता हूँ. गए नहीं भाई.
Another serving attention.